All right, let's talk about Roblox. So, you've probably heard the name, right? Maybe you've seen those blocky little characters running around. But what is it actually? Is it a game, some kind of social network, or is it the future of the internet? Well, the real answer is probably not what you're thinking. So let's break it all down.
And when I say surprising, I'm talking about the scale. It's just massive. Check this out, 85.3 million. That's not monthly users. That's how many people are on Roblox every single day. I mean, to put that into perspective for you, if all those users decided to form their own country, it would be bigger than Germany. So what's the deal? What's the magnetic pull that gets that many people to log on?
Okay, so here's probably the easiest way to wrap your head around it. Think of it like YouTube, but for games. See, this is the big misconception. Roblox isn't one game. Not at all. It's a whole universe, and it's filled with millions of games. It's this online platform where literally anyone can create, they can share, and then play this endless variety of experiences. And the craziest part? They're all built by other users, people just like you.
So to really get a handle on this huge world, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. First, we'll cover the basics of the platform. Then, we'll dive into its amazing creator economy. After that, we'll look at its explosive growth, tackle some of the platform's darker sides, and finally, we'll peek into what the future might hold.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1. So what are the actual building blocks here? What makes Roblox, well, Roblox? Basically, the whole thing stands on 4 main pillars. First, you've got the games themselves. They call them experiences, and that's the main draw, right? Then there's Roblox Studio. This is the free software that anyone, and I mean anyone, can download to start building their own stuff. The whole system runs on its own virtual money called Robux. And then the glue that holds it all together is the social platform, where everyone can chat and connect. It's like its own self-contained digital world. And its reach, especially with younger folks, is just, it's hard to overstate. Get this. The company itself says that half of all kids in America under 16 are on the platform every month. So, this isn't some niche little hobby. For millions and millions of kids, this is how they play. It's how they hang out with their friends. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about playing. For a whole bunch of users, this is a legit way to make real money. Let's talk about the Roblox creator economy. So here's the path from just messing around to actually being a professional. It starts with a creator, and a lot of times these are teenagers, using Roblox Studio to build a game or some kind of virtual item. Then they publish it to the platform. If other players like it and spend Robux on it, the creator gets a piece of that. And then, here's the magic step. Through a program called DevX, they can swap that virtual Robux for cold, hard cash.
Yeah, this developer exchange program, or DevX, it's the key. It's the bridge that connects the games economy to the real world. It's how creators can actually cash out their earnings. But there's a catch. You can only do it once you've earned at least 30,000 Robux. And let me tell you, that's a pretty high bar. It's a huge achievement, and frankly, it's a number a lot of hopeful developers just never hit.
But for the ones who do make it, wow, the potential is just astounding. Now look, most creators don't earn a lot, but the top-tier folks, they are building full-on careers here. We're talking about young developers, some still in school, pulling in 6 figures a year, just from creating and selling things inside a game. It's a whole new kind of job that didn't even exist not too long ago.
And if you want to understand just how big this economy is, just look at this number. Back in 2020, Roblox expected to pay out $250 million. That's $250 million to its developers in just 1 year. This is not pocket change, people. This is a massive economic engine, and it's what keeps the platform filled with new stuff to do.
And of course, when you have an engine like that, it's going to fuel some serious growth. So let's take a look at how this whole universe exploded from just a basic website into the multi-platform giant it is today. So it all kicked off on PC way back in 2006, but the real game changer, the moment things just blew up, was when it went mobile. It hit iOS in 2012, then Android a couple years after that. From there, it just kept conquering new territory, pushing into things like VR, and just recently in 2023, it landed on the PlayStation. Basically, now it's everywhere you can play. And then, a global event hit that changed everything, the pandemic. Suddenly, the whole world is in lockdown. Kids and teens are stuck at home, they can't see their friends, so where do they go? They flock to Roblox. It became their virtual playground, their digital hangout spot. It was the place to just be with friends when they couldn't in real life. And that period just poured gasoline on the fire.
The growth was supercharged to levels nobody saw coming.
So what was the result of all that? Well, by 2020, Roblox was pulling in over $2.29 billion in revenue, an absolutely stunning success story. But that kind of insane, rapid growth, it doesn't happen without some serious growing pains, and it started to shine a very bright light on a much, much darker side of the platform.
See, here's the thing. When you build this amazing universe that's totally open for anyone to create anything, well, you also open the door for people to abuse that freedom. And for Roblox, trying to police this enormous, sprawling world has become a truly monumental challenge.
And over the years, the platform has really been plagued by some deeply, deeply disturbing stuff. We're talking about things like condo games, which are basically virtual sex clubs. There's been content spreading extremist ideas, and even playable recreations of real-world mass shootings. And most seriously of all, there have been way too many reports of predators using the platform to try and get to kids.
And this is where you see the critical disconnect. On the one hand, if you read Roblox's rules, they have very clear, very strict standards that say all this stuff is absolutely forbidden. But on the other hand, you have investigative reports that just keep finding it. So there's this huge gap between the official policy and what's actually happening on the platform.
An investigation from Fast Company back in 2020 really summed it up perfectly. They said trying to get rid of all this bad stuff is like playing a game of whack-a-mole, you know? For every single piece of bad content the moderators manage to smack down, another one just pops right back up somewhere else. It's this relentless, and you have to wonder, maybe an impossible battle.
And I mean, just look at the raw numbers. It really tells the whole story. You've got a team of over 1,600 human moderators, and they are responsible for a world with over 85 million people in it every single day. The sheer scale of it, the user base just completely dwarfs the moderation team. It makes you realize what an incredible and maybe even impossible job they have.
Okay, so with these huge challenges, what's next? Where does Roblox even go from here? Well, the answer seems to be they're aiming older, they're going bigger, and they're getting way more ambitious.
The big strategy right now is a push to age up the audience. They're actually introducing experiences rated for people 17 and older, which means allowing stuff with more mature themes. You know, things that would have been completely unthinkable on the platform just a few years back. Now, at the same time, they're also trying to tighten up safety with things like mandatory age verification for some features. It all seems to be part of this much bigger plan to stop being just a kids game and to become a core platform for this idea of the metaverse.
And that really brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? Roblox built an entire empire by being the place for kids. Now it wants to be the digital world for everybody. So can it actually pull that off? Can it successfully make that jump, bring in adults, and finally get a real handle on its huge safety problems, all while not losing that special spark that made it so popular to begin with? I mean, that is the multi-billion-dollar question, and the answer is going to define its entire future.